Hi everyone and welcome back to Saturn Secrets. Today we're discussing the February new moon in Aquarius and what it means for your zodiac sign. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing the February new moon in Aquarius and what it means for your zodiac sign. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel for regular updates from me on all things astrology and what the stars have in store for you. Elephant in the room. I have not been here for a while. I think the last video that I did was the full moon in Gemini video, which was in December. I think that was maybe the last one I did. For those of you that follow me on Instagram or even my update on this channel, I was very unwell and I'm still not 100%. I don't think that's going to be back as soon as I would like it to be. But we're going to power on and get the February videos done. Thank you for all your lovely messages for those of you that did get in contact, inquiring where I was, and making sure I hadn't died. Thank you. So we are going to get into this video shortly. I just want to say that if you do want to book a reading this month for February, I am doing a special Valentine's love readings to see what the love messages are for you in an individual personal level. I will be doing a video on love messages for the zodiac signs for Valentine's, but this would be a more specifically tailored to you and your own personal transits, but mostly tarot. So if you are interested in that, you can contact me at the email below. I do have some readings to finish up this week, so if you're waiting on one from me that was delayed, it is coming in the next couple of days from this posting. So the new moon in Aquarius has a few specific themes. When we have a new moon, it is a new beginning. It's a time to set new intentions, to plant new seeds, and to really think forward, to think about what it is that you would like to do in the future. Now with Aquarius being the sign most associated with the future, this energy is amplified. There is more of a sense of what do I want to commit to right now to have the future that I would like to have. Basically, that's it in a nutshell. With the new moon in Aquarius, it is a time when you set intentions, when you plant seeds about what it is that you would like your future to look like. Now, this new moon is going to be making a couple of aspects that are very notable. It does have a little bit of a nostalgic feel to it because it is going to be activating the Saturn-Uranus square. So this new moon is going to be conjunct Saturn. It is going to be more tightly square Uranus, and Uranus is the ruler, the modern ruler of Aquarius. So with all this energy taken into consideration, you may find that with whatever new beginning you're casting your mind to, whatever intentions you're hoping to set, they maybe have a little bit of remnants in last year. It might be, especially if you have fixed sign placements, before 15 degrees of each of the zodiac signs, it may be that that Saturn-Uranus square activated something in your chart that was a struggle, that was challenging, but it made you stronger, perhaps. And with this new moon, you're thinking about those lessons with Saturn and how you want to bring about a bit of change, Uranus, and how the past was maybe holding you back, or maybe there was a pattern that needed to be broken. So with this new moon, it is actually a wonderful time to commit to something because it is going to be conjunct Saturn. Now, it is going to be square Uranus, but Uranus is doing something else that's really quite exciting that I want to get to. It's conjunction to Saturn. Saturn is regarded as having a very somber feel, a lot of lessons, a lot of karma, which can sometimes feel unfair because if you have this karma that you don't understand how you came to it, Saturn can feel a little bit like a taskmaster. But Saturn has an interesting way of giving back. Saturn has a way of giving you something that is incredibly rewarding and authentic. And a lot of the time it's because you were restricted from it before. So when we see with Saturn, sometimes there's this sense of what you didn't have handed to you, you appreciate that little bit more. What you had to work for, you appreciate that little bit more, and you're less inclined to take it for granted. So whatever this new beginning is that is for you at the moment, depending on what your ascendant sign is, whatever this new beginning is for you, you're likely feeling quite determined to get it right. You're likely feeling ready and willing to play the long game, to commit to something long term with Saturn there, to be more responsible and to be patient with the process, but there is a sense that whatever you're starting around this new moon, it is going to require commitment and a bit of grit. Now the square to Uranus is interesting because, as I say, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. This is sort of asking you to think outside the box. The most close aspect that's happening around this time is actually Venus trine Uranus. So Uranus, while it is squaring this new moon, it is also forming a much more significant trine to Venus. Now Venus is no longer in retrograde, which is what makes this particularly exciting. With Venus having been in retrograde since the 19th of December, it ending its retrograde on the 29th, albeit still in shadow, but life is too short to be obsessed with the shadow of the zodiac, the planets. It is just too short to be obsessed with the shadow. It's not to ignore it, but it's too short to be obsessed with it. Venus is now going to be trining Uranus very, very closely at this new moon. So with Venus being in Capricorn, it has also gone through a period of karma, Capricorn being ruled by Saturn, and review, and probably a lot of challenges in terms of romance or in terms of money or in terms of relationships in general. Now, because it's going to be trining Uranus, there is kind of this innovation, there is this spark, there is this excitement, and there is also an element of surprise with Uranus. So because it is going to be trining a benefic, which is no longer in retrograde, it is actually a really lovely romantic energy, full of surprise, full of intrigue, full of possibilities and thinking outside of the box. It is a wonderful time to spice up your love life and for romantic surprises. I'm not so sure how much I can say on that on YouTube, without the risk of getting demonetized, and also my mother watches these, but it is a bit of a, in terms of relationships, it can be a bit of an experimental phase, a bit of a fun phase, all that sort of different stuff, if you know what I mean, a bit of a buzz. With this Venus trine Uranus, you can expect some pleasant romantic surprises, especially if Venus or Uranus are happening in a relationship house. Or a romantic house. So if it's happening in the 5th or the 7th, there could be some romantic surprise and intrigue for you specifically. But I will get into that for the zodiac signs in just a second. Speaking of a romantic surprises, if you would like to treat someone you love, whether a partner, a love interest, or just yourself, to some beautiful roses, you can get 25% off your order using my coupon code Saturn25 at Rose Forever. These beautiful roses were sent to me by Rose Forever, and they are lasting beautifully. They do actually last up until a year. I've had these for over 2 months and the scent is still beautiful. I've linked their website below to check out all their Valentine's Day offers. I am going to be pulling a major arcana card for this new moon just to get an overall theme and summary and see what this new moon in Aquarius is. Of course, there is that serious tone of Saturn. There is that little bit of friction with Uranus, but because Uranus is trining Venus, just remember that love is the answer here. Romance is the answer, friendship is the answer, connecting with others, feeling abundant, feeling beautiful, focusing on what's beautiful around this time is going to bring you solutions and answers that you seek. We have the Chariot, which is Elphaba in this, which reminds me so much obviously of the song Defying Gravity. If you've ever tried to belt that out, it is one fantastic song. The thing about Defying Gravity is that it does kind of remind me a little bit of Uranus, that idea of believing in what's impossible, that believing in what could be, thinking of your future outside of the box, breaking free of your restrictions, breaking free of your mindset being stuck, or feeling like you have to play a specific role, feeling like you have to fit a specific mold, or feeling like your future has to fit a specific mold. With this new moon in Aquarius, it really is about thinking on the future that you want for yourself. You know, it isn't about pleasing anybody else. It's sort of marching to the beat of your own drum as Aquarian energy. So with this new moon, don't be afraid to think outside the box in terms of the direction you want to take, because the Chariot is all about being in the driving seat. It is all about choosing the path, choosing the direction, and choosing also who you take along for the ride. So with this Chariot card, I feel like the emphasis is on Elphaba. It is about defying gravity and what it is that you want to do and believing in the impossible, because this new moon does actually fall for some parts of the world on the 31st, meaning it is a black moon. because we already had a new moon in Capricorn in January. So there is an element of believing in the impossible and the rare, and that miracles do happen. So I'm going to get into the individual zodiac signs. As always, because this is astrological, do watch your rising, because the rising system, housing system, is more accurate in terms of predictions for astrology or themes. But you can also watch your sun and moon sign, because they are all going to be getting a card, and that might be specific to your sign. And some people do find, whatever the reason, some people do find that the sun sign applies the most, especially if you have an aspect between the sun and the ascendant, so just bear that in mind. So thank you for watching, and the timestamps are listed below. Have a beautiful new moon, set those intentions, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aries, welcome to your new moon in Aquarius prediction. So Aries, this is bringing a new beginning in terms of teams, friendships, and also your causes, your dreams, your aspirations. So you might be finding yourself, Aries, around this time in your work life, moving on to a new team or joining a new team of sorts. Some of you might be setting a new goal for yourself, and these are going to require commitment. This might also be that if a friendship comes into your life around this time, this could be quite a significant friend for the long run, but with Saturn there is an element of commitment. So whatever is starting in your 11th house around this time, be it friendship, team, aspirations, goals, or anything like that, Aries, this is going to be something that you're committed to for the foreseeable future, in particular the next 2 weeks, but possibly as far as the next 6 months. Now there is going to be that square to Uranus in your sector of finances, money. So I feel like this is going to take a lot of investment for you, and that might feel a little bit restrictive in itself, and you might feel a little bit caged and like you want to break free. The key here, Aries, is to focus on how you want your career to look, how you want your future to look in general, because there is a beautiful trine between Venus and Capricorn, your 10th house of status and career, and Uranus in Taurus in your money sector. So this commitment may actually pay off for you financially, materially, or at least in terms of confidence, Aries. So let's get you a major arcana card. The Magician, fantastic. Aradia, the Magician. So this is all about manifestation. This is saying that you have the tools, whatever it is that you're committing to around this time, whatever it is that you're feeling called to create, manifest, or pull into your human experience. You have all the tools to do it. So whatever it is that you're looking to start around this time, you're looking to achieve, you can have it, you can do it. It can be yours in 6 months, maybe even 2 weeks. The Magician works fast, and Mercury is going to go direct a couple of days later in your career zone, meaning that the serious thinking you've been doing, as well as the fact it's going to align with Mars, your ruling planet, in your 10th house, you can make waves really quite quickly in the next couple of weeks, Aries. So bear that in mind, and have that beautiful Martian Aries confidence that you possess, and work with it rather than against it. So it's all about a bit of forward momentum for you here, Aries, where it really feels like in terms of your 11th house, anything is possible. I always say with an 11th house new moon to all of the signs, do make a wish list, because it is more likely to manifest. The 11th house is where we see a lot of manifestation. So I hope you have a beautiful new moon, Aries, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Hi Taurus, welcome to the new moon in Aquarius segment for your zodiac signs. So Taurus, this new moon is happening in your 10th house of career and status and your goals. So Taurus, this new moon itself has a conjunction to Saturn, and this means that in terms of your career, it's likely that there is a key goal, maybe a title, maybe a promotion, maybe some sort of qualification. There's something that you're after. And this is a wonderful new moon to set those intentions or take those first steps, particularly the day after this new moon. Just want to point that out, because sometimes with new moons it's better to set intentions the day after, and the day after this one, for a lot of different countries, is the 2nd of the 2nd, 2022. So there's a manifestation element to that. And I think with you, Taurus, this is a wonderful time to get very clear on what it is that you want. The problem is, Taurus, that square to Uranus means that the only obstacle to this goal or progression is actually yourself. You might think that it's something else, but it is a limitation in your first house that needs to be broken, that needs to be liberated. This can be a belief, this can be an assumption, this can be just a feeling, and it's something that you could really, around this new moon, contradict in order to get out of it. You know, if you say that I'm not worthy of success, you contradict it even if it feels icky and say I'm completely worthy of success. You know, it's a contradictory energy that feels a bit unfamiliar at first, but with Uranus it is about breaking the mold, even if it seems odd or eccentric. And because Uranus is also in your sign and it's trining Venus, your ruler, there is a blessing occurring for you in the sky, Taurus, in terms of your higher self. With Venus being in Capricorn, it's likely that a lot of you have reviewed what you've learned, your education, your worldview, your religious view, your spiritual view, and it's becoming more in alignment and harmony with who you are. And this is going to manifest something in your life, Taurus, in terms of your career and your goals, your status, maybe even your title. Maybe some of you really want to get married. You know what I mean? It's about your status and how you show up in the world. And I do think with that Uranus aspect, it's saying to you, think outside the box in terms of your perspective with yourself. It actually reminds me a lot of the act as if theory. You know, the idea of showing up in the clothes that you would wear to your dream job and stuff like that. Really acting as if you already have what it is that you're setting yourself out to achieve. So let's get you an oracle card, a major arcana card, and see what it says for you, Taurus. Fantastic, we have Justice. So Justice is Libra energy. So maybe some of you have a Libra in mind at the moment. Maybe for some of you this is about striking balance. There could be a contract for some of you coming up. You might need to balance your career and your personal time, or you might need to iron a few things out legally. You might have to file some papers. You might have to seek counsel or advice. But for some of you as well, because Venus is in Capricorn and it's the 9th house, some of you that are working in law, because it is going to be trining your first house, and Uranus is very interested in things like rights. If any of you work in law, because I know some of you do, I do. So I do think some of you could be watching this and thinking, oh, I work in law, or I've got a legal case, or I've got a legal matter pending. This is a good omen. So if that is something that you want as an omen, it's actually a really good thing, Taurus. And I also feel like for some of you this could be suggesting that if there has been conflict with another person, there might be some negotiation and ironing out, especially with the 10th house, if it's a male or a father. I know some people get annoyed when you say male associated with the 10th house. So yeah, it could be either. It could be male or female, but I do think a lot of the time the 10th house is associated with really strong masculine energy. So that is what I'm sort of getting for you, Taurus. So I hope you have a beautiful new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Gemini, welcome to your new moon segment. So Gemini, this new moon is happening in your 9th house. Now this is to do with your education. It's also to do with travel. A lot of the time it can be to do with your perspectives. You could be having a perspective shift around this time. Some of you could be committing to something educational. Some of you could be making plans to take an adventure, a travel trip. These are things that are recommended around this time, or you may be making a decision in these areas. Some of you might also be finding yourself committing to something religiously, committing to some form of belief system around this time. Some of you could be also doing something legal around this time, a new start regarding legalities. Now it is going to be forming a tense aspect with Uranus. Now Uranus is in your 12th house, which is to do with the unconscious. It's to do with your dream state. Some of you could be having unusual dreams related to foreign lands. You could be having dreams of past experiences in education. You know, sort of like that dream where I feel like everyone's had this dream where you were in school and you were completely starkers, like completely naked. Something like that could pop up, because Uranus in the 12th house has this way of stirring up your subconscious, and it can make you more open to things like alternative forms of healing or working through past traumas or past experiences. But this new moon is really asking you, Gemini, I think, to plan something for yourself that actually scares you. So I know that sounds a bit strange, but it's about throwing yourself into learning something, trying something new, going somewhere, maybe taking a solo trip. It is encouraging you to do something new for yourself. Uranus in your 12th house is also going to be trining Venus in your 8th. And when Venus is in your 8th house, it can be a time where there's a lot of focus on merging with another person, a lot of intimacy. So a lot of you could have found with Venus in retrograde that these issues were stirred up, or fears surrounding closeness in relationships, or fears in relationships or fears surrounding money or worthiness could have been coming up. And I think that this new moon, if you commit to something adventurous that is exciting but also a little bit scary, you're really going to blend with the energies quite well. It's very harmonious for you because it is a new moon in your fellow air sign Aquarius. So I feel like this is actually quite a nice one for you, Gemini, to commit to something new. We do actually have the Devil as your oracle card, so I do think that this is about facing your fears. It is about, perhaps with that 8th house, 12th house trine, healing something within, giving something up that is toxic or is holding you back. Gemini, I feel like it is about healing the fear, leaning into the fear. Feel the fear and do it anyway is a book that I think comes up a little bit with your astrology and the Devil card, just to confirm. So that's what I have for you, Gemini, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Cancer, welcome to the new moon in Aquarius for your zodiac sign. So Cancer, this new moon is happening in your 8th house, which is to do with intimacy, it's to do with psychology, it's to do with the occult, it's to do with all things taboo, all things really quite private. It can be a lot to do with fear as well, and as bad as that may sound, it's actually not. This new moon has a conjunction to Saturn, so for a lot of you, you might actually be committing to somebody in your intimate life. This could be a partner, things could be deepening with a partner, you could be committing to a future together. You could be setting up a plan financially, because the 8th house is also other people's money. There could be a payment plan or a repayment plan, or you could be getting your finances in order by seeking outside advice around this time. The square to Uranus from this new moon is making me think, because Uranus is in your 11th house, you could be feeling a little bit confused about a friendship, or you could be feeling a little bit unsure about a friendship, or a future goal may not necessarily feel as resonant with you anymore. Maybe you're feeling a little bit like you want a new start, you want to commit to something new that is a little bit different to what your peers expect of you or think of you. You know, you might feel a little bit like you're letting people down at this time if you're looking to follow a particular path. But with Saturn, it is about following a path that works for you long term, and that is key. Because you must be responsible for yourself and the path that you're taking, and other people's opinions will not pay your bills, they will not make you happy, they will not, you know, sort your future out for you. Thankfully, there is a beautiful trine between Venus and Uranus. Now, Venus is in your partnership sector, it's just done its retrograde phase. For a lot of Cancer risings, that could have spelled breakups, divorce. I know that Lisa Bonet has her ascendant in Cancer as an example, but for others of you, it could have actually been engagements, commitments, it could have been reconciliation, all that different kind of romantic energy, that reflective energy. Now, it's trine to Uranus means there could be a little bit of excitement involved for you in terms of partnership, Cancer, especially if you're a Cancer rising. Because it's in your 11th house, you may actually find love with a friend, you might find love online, you might find love with someone that you're introduced to by a friend, or if you're in a relationship, you guys might be thinking, oh wow, we both want something in the future here that's the same thing, let's start working on it or committing to it. So let's see what your major arcana card is, Cancer. Oh, the Sun. Beautiful. You get the Sun card, meaning that there is something really favorable and beautiful going on around this time for you, Cancer. With this Aquarian season, this is a fun time to, with the 8th house energy, dive into some kind of mystery, or if you're interested in, sometimes with the 8th house it can be true crime, sometimes it can be astrology, it can be anything that is, as I say, regarded as taboo. Even if those topics, you know, are really very popular with a lot of people, you find they're sort of popular among very like-minded people. But with the Sun, it's all about finding fun in the things that maybe once seemed a bit scary or seem a bit edgy. But the Sun is foretelling some sort of brightness. I think for a lot of you it's in your relationship life, Cancer. I really feel like the Sun is coming out for you in terms of your close connections, and because there is going to be a Venus-Mars conjunction and Mercury is just about to get out of retrograde there, I do feel like things are about to get a lot brighter for you in terms of relationships. Even if they're good now, they're about to get brighter. So that's what I have for you, Cancer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to your new moon segment. So Leo, this is happening in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So this is a new beginning for that area for you, and because it is conjunct Saturn, I do think for a lot of you, you could be finding yourself either beginning a new relationship, you could be finding yourself committing to a relationship, you could find yourself beginning a whole new phase, a whole new chapter in your relationship life. It's very likely, especially if you're a Leo rising, the closer this is to your descendant, that there could be a new opportunity in your relationship life, in your partnership life, or your marriage, for example. So this is also going to be squaring Uranus in your 10th house. So there is a little bit of friction in terms of your career, in terms of your status. Perhaps you are committing to something with a partner that is going to be challenging to balance with your career. We did have a lot of this come up last year for you, Leo, so this isn't an unfamiliar energy. You could be figuring out now though how to figure that out going forward. You could be finding at this point that you have an idea, a clear path in a relationship and what it is that you want to do. It may also be at this time, because the 7th house can also be enemies. If you have an enemy or a competitor, there could be a new way of working around that, working with that. Especially if it is in terms of a career matter. The good news is that Uranus, even though it is squaring this new moon, and Uranus is in your 10th house of career, the good news about this is that it's trining Venus in Capricorn. And for you, that is to do with work. That is to do with your day-to-day work, your health, and your schedule, the things that you do within your working day, and how you also look after the running of yourself, basically. Leo. So this is a beautiful time for work matters. You could find with Venus in the 6th, trining Uranus in the 10th, that there is going to be some exciting surprise regarding a work matter, or regarding even a health matter. Maybe you're reaching a particular health goal, or you're motivated to do that, and you're maybe going to rope in your partner in terms of doing that, or you're maybe going to do it with a best friend. But I do feel there could be some exciting career surprises, work-related surprises happening for you at this time, Leo, or opportunities. Okay, so we have the Hanged Woman as your oracle card. So it may be, as you know, because this is opposite you and it is conjunct Saturn, and Saturn is you know, having Saturn sit opposite you can really make you wary of how responsible you have to be, or sometimes you're more aware of its limitations. With the Hanged Man, it is just about taking your time with something, making sure that you're adjusting your perspective if necessary in terms of your commitments. I don't want you to think that I'm saying something against you, Leo. I'm actually saying this as a fellow fixed sign, but I've noticed it a lot with Leo placements. It can be kind of hard for you guys to compromise on certain things. And I understand why, because you're ruled by the sun. But this might be a time when you could reflect a little bit more on the opinions of people around you, because this is a partnership new moon. So it is a time to really take into consideration, if you have a partner or you have a best friend, to try and see things from their perspective. Similarly, if you have a boss or someone in authority, or your father with Uranus being there in the 10th, it is also a good time to take into consideration, or at least ponder. You know, I'm not saying do anything set in stone, but at least consider other people's opinions just a little bit more than you usually would, basically, because this is very focused on relationships. So that's what I have for you, Leo, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to your New Moon in Aquarius segment. So Virgo, this is happening in your 6th house, which is the house that Virgo actually rules. So for a lot of you, you could be starting a new job around this time that's going to require commitment long term from you. A lot of you could be starting a fitness goal or a new diet, and this is likely to be something that is on a long-term trajectory. You're really thinking about this very seriously. I do think a lot of you are committing to a project that could last 6 months, or a new job, or a fitness or health related goal, or some kind of project in general. Now it is going to be squaring off with Uranus, and Uranus being in Taurus for you, Virgo, is very much to do with changing your belief systems. Maybe for some of you it's actually been changing your religion, or your spiritual beliefs. Maybe you found astrology in the Uranus through the 9th house transit. The square that is happening there is to challenge with whatever this project is. It's challenging your beliefs and your mindset. And it may also require you to learn something new, or be adaptable to doing things a different way in terms of your work. There is a beautiful trine happening, and this is the closest aspect between Venus in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. So you're the missing earth sign component of this trine, Virgo, meaning that there could be some beautiful blessings and surprises coming to you around this time, Virgo, in terms of love and romance, maybe even a surprise pregnancy for some of you if you are trying for that. Whether you're trying or not, actually, I don't know, because it's very surprising with Uranus being there. So that could be something that factors into your life, or it could be some creative inspiration if you're an artist. But it is beautiful, and it is in your fellow earth sign energy. So for you, it's more beautiful. Do you know what I mean? I do think with Venus now in Capricorn, if things have been a bit iffy for you regarding your love life, I do think this is a time when you could actually meet someone quite extraordinary just out of the blue. Could be through work. Or it could actually be through travel. If some of you are planning to travel around this time and your travel plans get rearranged, it might actually be for a romantic reason. Like there might be some sort of sequence of events, but I'm sure that's only for a select few of you. But it could be very exciting in terms of love, romance, and just pleasure in general now that Venus is direct. Venus is going to link up with Mars, making you doubly lucky with your 5th house. So let's get you an oracle card, oracle major arcana card. We have the Star. Beautiful. So I actually think this could be a bit of a sign for some of you, Virgo, that keep hope alive, because there's something about to materialize in your life or manifest in your life that's a wish come true. It could be linked to people with Aquarius placements. But this is a new moon and the star is Aquarius, so I think this new moon is a wonderful time for you, Virgo, to set intentions of what you would like to be doing or experiencing in your day by day, and knowing, as you know more than anyone else, that your habits are actually what makes stuff happen. The small things in the day-to-day add up rather than the huge strides every once in a while. So I hope you have a beautiful new moon, Virgo, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to your new moon segment. So Libra, this new moon is happening in your 5th house of love, pleasure, romance, joy, creativity, and also fertility. So this is a wonderful new moon to begin anything for you with the 5th house. It's a wonderful time to manifest love, creativity, pleasure, joy. It's a beautiful new beginning in your romantic life that might actually have a little bit more of a serious tone. This is interesting because it is going to be conjunct Saturn, meaning that there is a commitment to this, there's a responsibility to this. So for a lot of you, it could actually be pregnancy with that long-term Saturn aspect. It could also be in terms of romance, you're talking about making something a bit more committed. Now the issue with that is that there is going to be a square with Uranus in your 8th house, which is to do with intimacy. So some of you might have a little bit of a fear to work through surrounding your romantic life. It could also be fear or paranoia getting in the way of your creativity if you're an artist. Or it could just be that fear is sort of holding you back, but fear might also spur you forward, because Uranus in the 8th is going to be trining your ruler Venus in Capricorn in your 4th house of home and family. So for a lot of you, there could actually be starting a family, and there could be an element of surprise to this, particularly for Libra risings. So if that's something you really don't want, obviously with Saturn there, the more responsible you are, the more that, you know, what you want works for you. But I do think for a lot of you, there could be romantic new beginnings. There could be fertile new beginnings, creative new beginnings, fun new beginnings. But it's sort of like responsible fun with Saturn there, which is kind of funny. And also the square to Uranus, there is a little bit of fear involved. So I feel like there's a lot of excitement and fear, but also passion and pleasure and joy. So whatever it is that you're doing around this time, Libra, I feel like for you this is a new beginning that is fundamentally blessed, because Venus is your ruler and it is trine Uranus. So because that is the most specific, exact aspect of the sky, I do feel like you yourself are maybe getting a few exciting surprises. There could be some unpredictability in terms of home, family matters, but I do feel like there is a beautiful new beginning happening for you around this time, Libra, that is going to be joyful. So let's get you a major arcana card and see what comes up for you, Libra. So we have the Hanged Woman. Okay, so this is interesting. This came up for another sign. I think it was Leo. This is a lot to do with seeing things from another person's perspective, or seeing things in general from a different perspective. You know, really think about what you're committing to see all aspects of it. Try not to get into tunnel vision at this time. Try and really open your mind with Uranus there. Uranus likes to open the mind, and in the 8th house, Uranus is kind of opening the mind in a way that can be a bit scary, but it's important to lean into the fears because they're existing for a reason. You know, they're telling you something about yourself that can be far more illuminating than what you like. You know what I mean? I do think that there's a fear that is maybe creeping into the good times, or fear that's creeping into the new beginnings, that could potentially hold you back or disrupt you from having the happily ever after you're seeking, Libra. So it is a good time to look at that and see things from a different perspective, so that you can embrace the good opportunities as they arise. So that is what I have for you, Libra. Have a beautiful new moon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Scorpio, welcome to the new moon in Aquarius segment for your zodiac sign. So Scorpio, this new moon is happening in your 4th house, which is to do with home and family matters. So it could be for a lot of you around this time that you're moving into a new home. Some of you could be starting to save for a home or looking at new homes. Some of you could also have a new beginning happening in your family life. And with Saturn there is an element of commitment to this and the long run. So a lot of you are going to be making a decision around this time, or embracing a new beginning or experiencing a new beginning in terms of home, family matters, or property matters. And they do have a long-term aspect to them thanks to that conjunction with Saturn. Now, with Uranus being in your 7th house, Uranus is forming a square to this new moon, and Uranus in your 7th house means that there could be a little bit of disruption, or there could be a bit of an issue in terms of your home life and a relationship. So there could be a bit of a clash potentially between your new beginning in terms of a home and a partnership or a relationship. It could also be an open enemy, so this could be a competitor, for example, making themselves known in terms of getting a new home, or it could be someone voicing their opinions on the redecorating you're doing that you don't necessarily like. But there could be challenge in terms of a relationships or an enemy to your home and family life. It's funny how relationships and enemies are in the same house in astrology, but anyway, the good news about that, Scorpio, is that the more exact aspect is between Venus in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. That is the most, that is the closest aspect that's happening in the sky at this time. And Venus is a benefic, a trine is harmony, and Uranus is surprise. So for a lot of you, there could actually be a really pleasant surprise happening for you in your relationships, in your love life, because Venus is the planet of love and it is trining a planet in your 7th house transit. So for you, Scorpio, with Venus being in your communication sector, there could actually be some lovely news comes in from a relationship, a partner. There could be a beautiful conversation happening. Similarly, it could also be surprising news regarding a sibling or a neighbor. But I do think for a lot of you, there could be some really beautiful messages, maybe even like a text message or an email from a relationship, or maybe even a previous relationship. But it seems to me, Scorpio, that you're hearing words that you like around this time as well. There is some sort of element of surprise with relationships that I think for you is going to be positive. Okay, so that is what I have for you in terms of the astrology. Let's get you a major arcana card, Scorpio. We have the Chariot, so we have Alphaba. Again, this was the overall summary. So I do think a lot of you may also have news surrounding a car. I have to say, because Venus is in your 3rd house and it is trining Uranus, and Uranus can be kind of unpredictable. Some of you could be undergoing repairs with a car, some of you could be getting a new car or something like that, so keep an eye on that. But the Chariot is about putting yourself in the driving seat and making decisions that need to be made and taking the path that you want to take. You could also be dealing with a Cancer, Sun, Moon or Rising, but you don't have to be. The Chariot is about having confidence as well. So make sure around this time that you're having the confidence to embrace new beginnings and driving forward with these things. Making sure that you feel like you believe in the impossible. Do you know what I mean? Because again, the association with the song Defying Gravity. I'm through accepting limits because someone says there, so some things I cannot change, but till I try I'll never know. So I think that's the theme for you, Scorpio. I hope you have a beautiful new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your segment. So Sagittarius, this new moon is happening in your communication sector. It is going to be conjunct Saturn. So there is a seriousness in terms of communication. I think a lot of you need to talk about something. I think a lot of you need to express what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. It could be regarding a sibling as well. There could be some sort of commitment to a sibling happening at this time. Maybe you're working on something together. But what I'm really seeing for you, Sagittarius, is that if there's something troubling you, especially if it is to do with work or health, like your day-to-day experience, I think you need to talk about it. With Uranus squaring this new moon, I feel like the challenge is that you're not open-minded enough. And you're an open-minded sign, but I do feel with Uranus there in your 6th house, you're not open-minded enough to the solutions that could be possible if you vocalize what you were experiencing. I do think a lot of you are maybe not saying something, and this is the new moon to say it, or at least consider why you're not saying it. Because there is going to be a beautiful trine happening at the same time through Venus in your 2nd house, and also Uranus in your 6th house. So a lot of you could be finding around this time that you are receiving a gift, like a surprise gift, or some of you could be receiving money as well at this time. Money could start to improve a lot around this new moon because Venus is now direct. But I do think a lot of this requires some communication. So with this being a new moon in the 3rd house, you could also be selling something or buying something with Saturn there that is going to require payments. You could be paying for something around this time that is quite a big purchase as well, Sagittarius, and it could be related to your well-being. I do think with that square to Uranus, do watch out for not paying enough attention to your well-being. I think a lot of you are needing to communicate around this time, or at least maybe even learn something new. With the 3rd house, it can be a new skill, it can be learning a new language, it can be attending a short course or something like that. It can also be taking a trip around this new moon as well. So if you're taking a trip around this time, it is important to prioritize your well-being and your mental health if you are. But also just in general, as I say, do communicate, Sagittarius, because communication and conversations around this time could actually really bind you closer to somebody. The day after this new moon is the 2nd of the 2nd, 2022. So there is an element of connection here as well. And now Venus is going to be gaining momentum in your sector of money, your sector of confidence and worth. So if it's a lack of confidence that's held you back from saying something or asking for something, that won't be an issue for that much longer. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome to the new moon in Aquarius for your zodiac sign. Capricorn, this new moon is happening in your financial sector. I do feel for a lot of you with its link to Saturn, some of you might be setting in place a very specific financial plan. You might be getting very serious about your finances. You might be committing to something financially at this time that is going to be a long-term thing. For some of you as well, it could be commitment to your own self-confidence, or it could be paying off a very expensive item around this time for you, Capricorn. And this is going to potentially, ever so slightly, cut back your fun a little bit now. The reason that I say that is because Uranus is in your 5th house and it is squaring this new moon, meaning that what you're committing to quite seriously may feel a little bit like it is killing your buzz, because Uranus is in the 5th house of pleasure and joy. And it may just feel a little bit like you're having to limit your fun. Maybe you can't go out as much if you're paying for something. You can't just buy coffee from a coffee shop every day, or you maybe can't see go to bars as much, or maybe you can't, you know, spend as much on your artistic supplies or something like that. However, there is going to be a beautiful trine happening between Venus and Uranus. Now Venus is in your sign, it's done its retrograde through your sign, and now it is going to start giving you the gift of being in that sign, and it's going to connect with Mars, which is doubly good for you, and it is trine Uranus. So for a lot of you though, Capricorn, there could actually be a romantic surprise for you specifically, because Capricorn, Venus is in your first house and it is going to be trining Uranus in your fifth. There could be a romantic surprise. For those of you that are single, this could be sort of romance falling out of the blue. This could be hearing from someone out of the blue. Or it could be, if you're in a relationship, a beautiful romantic surprise coming up for you, something that you didn't quite expect. If you're a creative or an artist, this is also a beautiful new moon for you, because Venus and Uranus being trine means you could have a genius idea, a once in a lifetime type idea that it's linked to this new moon, could actually make you money. So let's have a little look at your major arcana card, Capricorn. Oh, Anne Boleyn, the High Priestess. I like it. High Priestess, very witchy vibes, very intuitive. A lot of you could be having some very intuitive dreams at this time, Capricorn, listening to your wisdom, listening to your higher self, and also whatever surprise that is coming to you could be quite significant, because when the High Priestess comes up as a tarot card, it means there's something you can't know. So that is an interesting one for you, Capricorn. I do hope you keep me posted. That was all I have for you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aquarius, star of the show. This new moon is happening in your sector of you. Now it is going to be conjunct Saturn. You've had Saturn rummaging around in your first house for a good while now. You're probably quite used to it. This conjunction to Saturn means that you're to commit to something for yourself seriously. A personal goal, a personal aesthetic, a personal want, a personal need. And you have to commit to this. You have to be determined that this is going to be yours, or that you're going to do this for yourself. Nobody else. There's a full moon coming up in your partnership sector. It'll be to do with other people. This is about you. It is time to commit to something for yourself, Aquarius. A new start, a fresh start. You have the ability to start over anytime you want. This is the prime time to do so. It is going to be squaring off with Uranus, your ruler. Uranus is in your fourth house, which is, in this case, I think quite associated with the past. It's also to do with family. And I have noticed a lot of Aquarian Sun, Moon, Rising people, they tend to follow a path that is not necessarily to do with their family. It can happen, but it's sort of rare, the Aquarian that follows their parents' footsteps. It doesn't seem to happen very much. So it could be that whatever it is you're committing to for yourself, Aquarius, may not make sense to the people you live with. It may not make sense to the people that you're related to either, and that's okay, because they are actually going to benefit from your personal healing. The reason being is that Venus is in your 12th house. It's been retrograde there. Maybe you have been thinking about past relationships, relationship karma. Maybe you have been healing relationship attachment styles, for example, over the retrograde. And now it's trine Uranus in your fourth house. So I do feel like the key theme here, Aquarius, is that when you lean into doing what it is that feels good to you, although initially there might feel like there's a bit of resistance, it's actually going to bring you a lot of authenticity in your relationships. And I actually think people are really going to admire you at this time too, because people, even if they criticize, people do fundamentally admire folk that march to the beat of their own drum and are true to themselves, because people that are true to themselves are more likely to mesh and form relationships with people that work for them, you know, the relationships that feel good to them. So you can only benefit by doing what is true to you around this time and committing to a new beginning for the self, Aquarius. And with the Venus Uranus trine, you could find that a lot of people really want to love you for who you are, basically, and that could become very clear to you going forward. Now that Venus is direct, it can start to edge its way to your sign as well, which is lovely. So that's not until March, but we'll get there. So Aquarius, the world, lovely, Kiki. The world is your oyster. Just look at her being a little witch with her black cat and her broomstick. This is very important for you, Aquarius, because this is just her being who she is, embracing her witchy ways, embracing her alternative dress, her alternative way of living, alternative wants, needs, and individuality. And this is you. The World card is also a sign that there could be a lot of success on the horizon for you based on leaning into this personal goal, whatever it is. So that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Happy new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces, welcome to the new moon in Aquarius for your sign. Pisces, this is happening in your 12th house, which is your house. Spirituality, healing, the unconscious. this is a lovely time to commit to something healing, whether it is that you're going to study a new way of healing, like you're maybe going to study Reiki, or you're going to develop a spiritual gift, or you're going to realize you have a spiritual gift. A lot of you are committing to something spiritual at this time because it's unconscious. It could also be you're committing to a therapist at this time, committing to counseling, committing to some form of healing. You may also be committing to something selfless, such as work with a charity at this time. And you may also be finding that you're having some very interesting dreams. Sometimes with a new moon in your 12th house, you can have dreams that are premonition based. You could be meeting people in your dreams that actually you're going to meet in real life in your future. So this could be a really interesting healing time for you, Pisces. There is a square to Uranus in your 3rd house. So I feel a little bit like maybe you can't vocalize what it is that you're feeling. Maybe you can't vocalize what it is that you're starting or beginning, or you just don't feel comfortable sharing it with people just yet. That's okay, because there's actually a group of people, maybe friendships, that share your vision that you might meet after this new moon. So with Venus being in Capricorn, to do with friendships, a lot of you have been reevaluating your relationships in life and if they fit who you are and if they fit your goals. And this trine between your 11th house and your 3rd means you could actually be finding yourself around some very like-minded individuals going forward, and people who are really interested in what you have to say. It's a go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated kind of energy. And I actually think that you might be really happy about the friendships that come into your life in the next couple of months, or the teams or the groups, or even quite simply the manifestation of a goal. So it's also kind of a new moon, Pisces, I have to say, where if you don't ask, you don't get. You know, tell people what it is that you want, because there's a high chance that things might align and people can help you solve that problem. Speak things into existence, ask the universe for a sign. I'm a Pisces rising, and I had the strangest experience at the weekend where I was wondering about something and I said to the universe, if this is da-da-da-da-da, send me a sign in the form of a pumpkin. It was the first thing that came to my head, and I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to see a pumpkin in January. So a pumpkin actually flashed up on Instagram, and I thought, I'm not going to take that because it's just Instagram, like anything can come up. And then I was visiting someone's house that evening, and there on the table was this little patchwork of a scarecrow sitting on a pumpkin. And I just thought, oh, like that was so strange, because it was not to do with the theme, it wasn't decorative, it was actually just sitting out as if someone had found it, set it down and forgotten about it. And I just sort of thought, that's a synchronicity that you can't really ignore. So I think for a lot of you, do something like that. 12th house is very spiritual, and there's a lot of synchronicities happening to you around this time, Pisces. And if you dare to speak about what it is that you want, you don't have to speak about what it is that you're committing to that's so private with this new moon, whether it's a new spiritual gift, whether it's a therapist or whatever it is, you don't have to speak about that. But in terms of your 11th house, with Venus being there, wishes can come true. So whether that's you speaking it out into the universe or speaking to the people that really match who you are, people can actually help you get what you want, Pisces. Let's get you a major arcana. Ha! We have the sun. Beautiful. Manifestation. I also noticed underneath we had the Lovers, so I do think people are going to help you get what it is that you want, Pisces. The sun is a beautiful energy. It's all joy. It's about manifestation, fun, pleasure, happiness, feeling really very content. And I know that it is the 12th house, but the sun lighting up your 12th house can show you where you need to heal in order to flourish. You know what I mean? Because the 12th house can be that seedling stage before we have the 1st house season. So these beautiful sunflowers in the card began obviously as seeds in darkness. So whatever it is that you're committing to now is going to help you grow. That's what I have for you, Pisces. Have a beautiful new moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.